Alright, now we got cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. So this is used with most diagnoses, so schizophrenia, anxiety, bipolar, panic disorders, personality disorders, eating disorders, somatoform, and OCD. So we just want to help change thinking to help change behavior. We can do this by role-playing, have purposeful activities. One thing with this is there is a area called DBT, or dialectical behavioral therapy. This is really with borderline personality disorders, and it addresses suicidal thoughts. So this one we want to build rapport with our people who might have a borderline personality disorder, and it really just provides an opportunity to practice new skills. So with DBT, we just really practice new skills. We want to be there for the client, so to build that rapport. Just remember, DBT is with borderline. And the CBT can be used with pretty much any diagnosis. And remember, it's a change of thinking, and that should change behavior. Alright, the Allen. So I'm going to go through the Allen cognitive levels. And this you want to continue in the level until they can't anymore. And how I remember the levels is the little acronym PMGE. So I think of PM like the evening time, and then GE like the company GE. And you're probably like, that's only 4 levels, and there's a total of 6. However, 2 of the levels you don't usually do groups with, so that's why the PMGE kind of stands out. So level 1 is automatic responses. So you respond to internal stimuli like hunger and tired. Usually these people are bedridden, so they're not going to be good in group. Level 2 is postural, so they respond to postural movements like gross motor. And they might not be great in group unless you're doing some type of group that is just strictly gross motor, and they can hopefully move about like that, but usually they're not good in group. Level 3 is when you start to be able to be in group situation. So manual is with your hands, so this is a repetitive group. You can manipulate objects in this group. However, their attention span is usually about 30 minutes, so you want to use tactile cues with these people. Usually they can follow 2-step commands, but they must be interested in the activity, or they're not going to do it. So manual, just think of hands, repetition, manipulation, tactile cues. So level 3, they move hands in response to tactile cues. You want the objects in arm's reach. Usually they have about a 30-minute attention span. You want to do repetitive work. And think of tools are an extension of the hand. So like a paintbrush, they could do something like that in this type of group. But again, they must be interested or they're not going to participate at all. So next, level 4 is goal-directed. So this is where you can do a craft project. And these people here are very visual. So visual cues are key. So if you have a goal-directed project to make a birdhouse at the end, say, you have a model of the birdhouse. That's the visual cue that will help them to be able to complete the task. Usually their attention is about 1 hour. They can do 3-step commands. They can also do basic ADLs at this point. Only have out what you need during this group. If there is more, they could be visually get distracted and they won't be able to complete the goal. Next is exploratory. So this is an independent learning session. This is where they use trial and error. So they can learn new tasks, they can imitate and remember several steps. So here they can do about 4 steps. However, they lack abstract thinking and social awareness. So with exploratory, since it is trial and error and also focusing on safety, they can do projects that involve clay. So, sometimes you might want to smash the clay if you're mad or something, but since they don't have the ability to control those impulses or they don't have abstract thinking, this is where they can learn to hopefully manage those impulses and control that and not to smash the clay pot. So exploratory, they're more advanced at this stage. They can usually learn a new step with trial and error, and they can hopefully control their impulses. And then the very last level is level 6. That's you and me. So this is when there's no disability, so you don't really have to be in therapy at this stage. And then with all of the stages that do involve groups, the leader is directive because they are very low cognitively, so the OT needs to be directive to establish the group and to get things moving. And again, my acronym PMGE. Yes, P, the postural, doesn't really attend to group. You might have them in a group if it's a gross motor group, but other than that, there's not going to be much done. But just to remember the order, I always think of PMGE. And then I always remember level 1 and level 6 are not involved in group.